Yo, what's good, basketball heads? It's your boy Crush. Let's talk about James Harden getting Doc Rivers fired. Is it Doc Rivers' fault that James Harden and Joel Embiid is a choke artist? No. James Harden been choking his entire career. He always comes up short in the biggest moments. Let's take a trip back down memory lane. James Harden in OKC. He got to the finals with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook versus the Miami Heat, LeBron, D-Wade, Chris Bosh. They had a great young core, also with Serge Ibaka. And what happened? James Harden was nowhere to be found. He never showed up, and they lost 4-1 to Miami. Yes, Miami had more experience, but the reason why OKC lost was mainly because James Harden, the sixth man, never showed up. So in the biggest moments, he never showed up. Then he went to Houston, and for 7-8 seasons, it's the same story. He never shows up in the biggest moments when you need him the most. Then he went to Philly, and his first stint, they lost, and Joel Embiid even took a shot at him and said James Harden is not the same player anymore. Even Joel Embiid said that because he was a no-show and he was terrible. Fast forward to this season. He gave you 2 great games in the playoff. And beyond that, he was a no-show. Yes, he gave you 2 great games, surprisingly. But is it the coach's job to make the players show up and play? No. It's not Doc Rivers' job to motivate you to play basketball. I mean, you either want to play or you don't. That's just the situation. And James Harden choked. Joel Embiid choked. And essentially cost Doc Rivers his job. So Doc Rivers got fired because James Harden don't want to play for him anymore. So reports came out that James Harden do not want to play for Doc Rivers. So obviously, if the player don't want to play for the coach, what are they going to do? They're going to fire the coach, obviously. They're going to scapegoat him, fire the coach, hoping that will keep James Harden. But let's be honest. I'm sorry. The 76ers are not winning a championship with James Harden as your second best player. Or your first, whichever. I'm sorry, they're not. And Joel Embiid is not that guy. By now, it's evident he's not that dude. He'll be great in the regular season, but he's like James Harden. It's playoff, postseason time to show why you're the MVP, and he choked. So he choked, James Harden choked, and the 76ers scapegoated Doc Rivers. Somebody got to get fired. Somebody got to get the blame. That's just how it works. If the stars ain't happy, guess what? The coach is going to get X'd. That's just how it works. So Doc Rivers lost his job after 3-4 seasons in Philly. And I understand to a certain extent because Doc Rivers' resume, he always fails in Game 7 or a crucial game to advance or go ahead. But I'm not going to blame the series on Doc Rivers. It's on Embiid and James Harden. And clearly they weren't prepared to play. Not in Game 6, not in Game 7. I mean, yes, the coach could make adjustments, X's and O plays, but the players have to be ready to play. They have to be prepared. That's just sports. I could draw up all the plays and make all the substitutions and whatnot. But if the stars, James Harden and Joel Embiid, are not prepared, it doesn't matter. And what happened in Game 7 was a disgrace. James Harden and Joel Embiid choked. And in the aftermath of all that, Doc Rivers lost his job. And it's sad, man. I'm not going to argue for them firing him. I mean, it's whatever. But the fact is, it is not his fault that the superstars didn't show up to play. I mean, I can coach you, but I can't make you play. You have to want to play. And James Harden and Joel Embiid, they both choked. And if you look at James Harden history, he's a choke artist. I don't know why people keep relying and hoping one day James Harden is going to turn around and be this clutch player who's going to win an NBA championship. You are who you are. We have over 12 years of James Harden sample size to know that he's a choke artist and he doesn't show up in the biggest moment. He don't. Once again, I'm not going to argue for the 76ers firing Doc because Their lack of playoff success, I understand. It's been 3 seasons, so I get it. My only gripe is the fact that they're trying to scapegoat him. And because James Harden is unhappy and will not re-sign if Doc is the coach, we got to throw him out. And that won't change anything. James Harden, he is who he is. He's not that guy. I'm sorry. James Harden is a third option. Simple as that. He's a third option. He's not a first option, obviously. He's not a second option. He's a third option. And he's unreliable. He was unreliable in OKC. He was unreliable in Houston. Put up all them numbers, all the great stats. And when playoff came, he was a no-show. He was unreliable in Philly for the first season. Joel Embiid even took a shot at him for being terrible. And I'm not going to lie, he showed up this playoff for 2 games. Surprised even me because normally he just don't show up. So 2 games he showed up and that was it. But the games that matter the most, games 6 and 7, he was a no-show. So was Joel Embiid. And this is Doc Rivers' fault. Clearly they're scapegoating Doc Rivers and they're getting him out of town. So hopefully that'll entice James Harden to re-sign. And I get it, man, but it's jacked up. So, there's a lot of rumors saying James Harden didn't like Doc Rivers and, he will never play for Doc Rivers again and, all this extra drama. So, they had to fire Doc Rivers, hoping that'll entice James Harden to stay. There's no way around it. If the stars ain't happy, we got to get the coach out of town, and that's what happened. I'm not going to absolve Doc Rivers of any issues because he always seemed to fail in the biggest moments as a coach. When you need to win these games, his resume, he comes up short. He comes up short in the biggest moments. When he was in LA as a Clipper coach, they were up 3-1 on Denver, and he choked away that job. Early on in his career, coaching Tracy McGrady in Orlando, they were up 3-1, and he blew that situation. The Chris Paul Clippers, they could have made it to the finals, and he blew that situation. So Doc Rivers always failed in the biggest moments, so I'm not going to absolve him from any blame. Yes, he could have done better, but it is not his fault that James Harden is a choke artist, and he never shows up when you need him the most. That is not Doc Rivers' fault. I won't say the firing of Doc Rivers wasn't justified because in 2 consecutive seasons as the head coach, they haven't made it past the conference finals. So I won't say his firing is unjustifiable, but I will say firing him to appease James Harden is the worst decision you can make because this guy is a choke artist. It doesn't matter who you bring in to coach James Harden, it's the same result. He's unreliable. So if the players are unreliable, it doesn't matter who you bring in to coach them, they're not reliable. Everybody shared blame and fault in this collapse. James Harden is at fault. Joel Embiid is at fault. Doc Rivers is at fault. So they all shared blame in the collapse of the Sixers. It wasn't just Doc Rivers not making proper coaching adjustment or decisions. No, it was James Harden and Joel Embiid choking in the biggest moments. That played a huge role in why they lost. Joel Embiid didn't show up, didn't impose his will, wasn't a big man, and James Harden did his classic Game 7, crucial game. He became a magician, and that's why they lost, plain and simple. I mean, there was a lot going on, obviously, Doc Rivers' playoff history, and him and James Harden didn't have the best relationship, so this was bound to happen. In a sense, this was inevitable. The minute James Harden was traded from Brooklyn to Philly, it was inevitable that Doc Rivers would eventually be fired. Here we are, but Doc will be all right, man. He has a playoff championship, Even though he comes up short in the biggest moments, he's still a great coach. He'll get another gig, so he'll be all right. This won't change the fact that Joel Embiid and James Harden, they choked. And this will never change the fact that James Harden will always choke because this is what he do. It doesn't matter who's coaching him. He is just not that type of player. I'm sorry. He's good for the regular season until it's playoff time. And then he becomes a magician. Where is James Harden? Where is Waldo? And that is the fact of the matter. But the scapegoat, the coach, that's crazy, man. You knew it was a wrap when at the press conference, James Harden didn't even support Doc Rivers. You knew it was a wrap. If the players or the stars are not supportive of the coach, it's a wrap. If your stars are not backing you, supporting you, the jig is up and Doc Rivers, he's out of there. Yeah, man. But, like I said, he'll bounce back. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He has a great resume. Despite losing in the biggest moments, he still has a great resume. He got a ring under his belt. I know a lot of people are going to say, you know what? He's resting his hat on having that ring, but either way, he's a winning coach. He won a championship. He'll get another gig, man. He'll be all right. But James Harden is a buster. Joel Embiid is a buster. And they're not that guy. I'm sorry. They're both role players. But as always, I'll holla. As always, we just talking basketball. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, holla at your boy.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about the game. I'ma say it. It's all about the game.